Hello. Okay, we're back, and hopefully, this time we actually get to finish what we started. Now, I have to say, I'm really happy on how this is looking, so I'm just gonna add color to it. Let's see how this goes. What I like to use for my drawings is markers. I really like drawing with markers, and as you can see, I have quite a bit of them. I have also that one, and I have another one of this. I like using the Sharpie markers because you get a really good color and you don't see a lot of, when you paint marker over marker, you don't get a lot of overlay. So you can get nice, clean, plain colors, which is what I like. I like to keep things very, very simple. Oh, yes. Although, before the color, we need to actually get rid of the pencil. I forgot about that. Because you see here we have all this pencil inside. That's the underdrawing. We need to get rid of that. Now that we have the ink, we only want the ink. We don't want any of the pencil. Now, I'm sorry if this makes the camera shake a little bit. Unfortunately, the camera is stuck to the desk, which is better for me because I can have free hands. But for this part of the process, it might make it a little bit shaky, but hopefully it's not such a big deal. If not, you can always skip ahead of this part because this is just take the pencil out. But I want to show you everything I do step by step without missing anything. And at least you have the freedom to skip ahead or you can watch. So I'm very excited to have this done and take it out when I busk. I think it's gonna look good and it's gonna help people know the prices of things I have without me actually having to stop busking to tell them. It's something that, to be honest, I knew I had to do for a long time, but I just didn't find the time to do so. The thing about busking is that, you know, you can pretty much do it all day. And what happens to me, at least, is that I try to do it as much as I can, and when I'm not busking, I actually feel very guilty. Like today, I am not going busking. I'm staying here. It's quite gloomy outside, and there's a lot of things that I need to do around my studio, and it's a lot of videos I need to upload that I've been making. I just did not have the time to put them online. And I have to admit, I feel guilty of not being out there busking, making some money. Especially with all that's happening with the pandemic. Some savings would really be good if lockdown gets settled again, because during lockdown I was not able to busk, so I didn't make any money then. Luckily I had some savings, otherwise it would have been not very good for me. I'm very lucky of living in Australia, which we're not having such a big trouble, such big problems like most of the world seems to be. So I am so grateful of that. I would not be able to do what I do in most of the world right now. But yes, I've been wanting to take a day off busking and stay at home, stay in my studio, and start doing everything that I needed to do. Like, my list of to do things is endless, and it grows faster than I can actually accomplish the things in it. But that's okay. I made my peace with it, and that is part of my life, so I try not to get stressed by it. I just take it for what it is, and I just do my best, pretty much. Today I started a new video series, pretty much like this one, where I try to guide people through my drawing process while making some drawings. But the one I started today, the new one, is instead of taking people through my drawing process, I take them through my songwriting process. So the idea is I turn the camera on and I just try to write a song and try to guide people through my thought process and what I'm doing. And I would like that if that helps people to write songs, and if this that what I'm doing now helps people to start making their own drawings, that would mean everything to me. Once in Argentina, I was showcasing my drawings in an event that a friend of mine was making in a really cool pub where all the artists used to go and gather, and there were always bands playing, and all the walls had paintings and drawings on them of different artists. It was a great place for emerging artists. And yeah, this friend asked me to showcase my drawings there, and I went, and she was doing a little interview for all the people that were participating in her event. So she asked me a few questions, and questions that nobody had asked me before. And I remember she asked me, "What do you want to accomplish with your art?" And that like stunned me for a second, because I actually I never thought of that before. So it took me a while. I didn't have any prepared answer. So I just thought and thought and thought for a little bit. And the only thing I could come up with was, well, I actually would like to inspire people to also, do their own art. I would like people to see what I do and be like, "Ooh, I want to do that. I want to learn," or "I could do that if I tried." The same with music, any kind of art. I just want people to do it because I love it so much and I get so much out of it. It's crazy. I would definitely not be able to be here today without art. It helped me, it saved me in the worst moments of my life. Art is that one thing that something bad happens to you, you can grab all that energy and you can actually make something beautiful out of it. I've written beautiful songs about heartbreak. And, I have dealt with lots of negative emotion through drawing as well. And you can also express positive emotions too. That's a trick that I see a lot of artists falling into. Is that they get so used to expressing their negative emotions that they start thinking that that's what fuels their art. The negative emotions, and they almost start thinking that if they get happier, they will be worse as an artist, which I think is completely ridiculous. So I'm gonna start now with adding black hair, the inside of the mouth, and yeah. But yeah, what I was telling you before is true. I met many artists like that. And that is a trap that is very easy to fall into. And yeah, it's always sad when I hear people saying that they actually don't want to be happy so that they can be better artists. But I don't believe that for a second. And I know that for me, like for the last, I don't know what, 5 years, my life has consistently getting better and better every year. And so is my art. So I am living proof that there's really no correlation between how good you're as an artist and how happy you are. There is great art that has been done by people who are suffering a great deal. But there's also been great art that's been done by people who are extremely happy and in love with life. I just think that if your job as an artist is to bring whatever is inside you and bring it out. And if you're sad, that's probably that's gonna manifest itself in your art. And if you're happy, that's gonna show in your art. And that's what you have to do. Just bring whatever's inside of you. Don't try to manipulate it or try to dress it in any way. Whatever is in, just pour it out. And just keep doing that. I also like to use art as a way of exploring what's inside of me. Because sometimes I can't really explain what I'm feeling. I can't really put a pin to it, but if I try to write a song, if I try to make a drawing, if I try to write a poem, it tends to make things clearer. That's why whenever I'm involved in some sort of art creation, I like to shut down my mind, my thinking mind, and just let whatever is in there out as a way of exploring what I truly feel and what I truly think. Like I remember when I was traveling in the United States, I was with a friend of mine and I was writing, and I started noticing that all these negative things about him started popping up in all my writings. And I realized like, oh, I'm actually really angry with my friend. And if I didn't have tried that exercise of just writing down whatever was in my head, I probably wouldn't have noticed, and it would have been in the unconscious, and it would have come out in different ways. I would have probably started getting angry with him without knowing why. But in the process of writing it down, I could see that there was inside of me, and I could actually deal with it in a conscious way. So art is a great tool for self-discovery. It's a great tool. And that's why I think true art comes when you actually let whatever is inside you out. Some people, they try, they have preconceived ideas, and they try to make their art say something that they don't truly believe, and I don't think you can get great art that way. That's why when you get a lot of like propaganda art, it's not real. it's forced. So as you can see, I like with the Sharpies doing 2 runs because that really makes the color sink in, and you can see less marker traces. Because I'll show you. I'll leave this one as only 1 coat, and you'd actually see the difference. But again, you can use whatever material you like for the coloring. That's just your own way. But you can see like this one, as it looks much better than this one. This one has a double coat. This one is just a single. So now I'm gonna add a double to that one. Boom, boom, boom. Actually, for my next video, I should probably add some music in the background. That always helps with this part. Because coloring can be slightly tedious, but you know, if you just relax, you just enjoy it, it's actually quite nice. Now, I want another blue, but I don't want the same blue I just used. I'll go with this one. Another thing I like about using markers is that there's no color mixing. So like pretty much like you have this blue and you have this blue. You know what I mean? If I could mix the colors like paint or like watercolors, then you can get any shade of blue you want, which is great. But also, you know, the more options you have, the harder it is to choose one. I like limited options. I once heard a phrase that I think is quite true, that it says something like limits are the mother of invention, something like that, or the mother of creativity. And I think that is very true. I think that a lot of times as an artist, limits are what makes us more creative. And if you only have a limited array of colors, then it becomes a matter of how you use them. And it's the same with music. I always tell my friends they should start writing songs as soon as possible. And instead of trying to learn, because a lot of people are like, oh, first I'm gonna learn all the chords and all the strumming patterns and all this and all that, and then I'm gonna write my own songs. But I always think that actually you should just learn like 2 or 3 chords and just write a song with those 2 or 3 chords. There's great songs that only have 3 chords. My favorite song is Mr. Tambourine Man from Bob Dylan. That only uses 3 chords. And the strumming pattern is super simple. So, you know, it's not the amount of tools you have, it's actually how you use them. And yeah, I think it's better to have fewer tools and use them really good than having all the tools and not knowing what to do. You know what I mean? So another thing I see a lot in most people that go into the world of art is too much focus on technique, right? Like, how can I explain this? Let's see. I see lots of people that put all their energy into the technique, into the line, into the figure. They want to make it look as good as they possibly can, and there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong. But Ah.